Hello, friends. We are currently in South Carolina filming for movie number 3. We are still having our fundraiser. If you'd like to help us with donations for production, anything is greatly appreciated. We have links for you right in the description. I did not bring my good mic on this trip, so the audio for these podcasts the next few days on my end aren't the best, but still listenable. We'll be back in town next week, and we hope you have a great Halloween.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's not enough to say it's nuts, you have to explain why it's so nuts. The invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed.
Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Isaac, co-host of Hidden in the Shadows podcast. Be sure to check out my films. Doors of Perception is on Amazon Prime. Occult Louisiana is on Tubi. Great films to watch for the Halloween season. We are booking guests for December. If you have suggestions or you'd like to be a guest, email me forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Today I want to welcome Isaac. He is co-host of Hidden in the Shadows podcast. He's a shaman and lead investigator of Hidden in the Shadows Paranormal. Isaac, welcome. How you doing?
Doing good.
It's great to have you, man. Looking forward to our discussion. Today we're going to share your journey, which includes paranormal experiences and investigations. And you're also a shaman, which we're going to explore a bit as well. There's a lot to get into there. Before we do, this is your first time on. Tell us a little bit about yourself and let the audience know how they can find out more.
Well, my name's Isaac, co-host of Hidden in the Shadows podcast and co-investigator with my wife. She's also the co-host of Hidden in the Shadows podcast and co-investigator of Hidden in Shadows Paranormal. We decided just to keep Hidden in the Shadows for our paranormal team and podcasting because that's what everybody knows us as. Been doing that for podcasting for about 5 years and then the paranormal investigating for about 4. Podcasting is actually what got us into paranormal investigating. Though the paranormal has surrounded me and my wife since we were kids. Her since birth, because she was born very powerful psychic medium, as she still is today. And me, I grew up on a very haunted ranch when I was a kid in Texas. Everything paranormal has ever severely happened to me on that ranch. But also, as I grew up, I had paranormal experiences, but they really upticked when I met my wife. And then dating her in the early days, everything paranormal again started happening around her because every house she's lived in, every house she's going to live in is haunted. And it's because ghosts are attracted to her. She's like a nightlight in the, not a nightlight, sorry, a searchlight, like a big searchlight in the paranormal realm. So spirits are consistently attracted to her. So no matter where we live, it's always going to be haunted. And that's something that we've come to accept. But also later, doing paranormal investigating is when we started figuring out exactly who we are and why we are here, our purpose.
Right on. Well, that's a great introduction. Maybe we could start with how everything started for you, some of your earliest experiences.
Yeah, the ranch I grew up, it's in Blanco, Texas, which is about an hour north of San Antonio. Population was 1,500 when I left. It might have grown since then. I don't know. It's been years since I've been back. But the ranch is out in the middle of nowhere, and that's not an exaggeration. Literally, there's no street lamps, there's no lights to drive to get there. So I, living there when I was younger, I killed probably more deer with my car than I ever did with a gun, consistently hitting them all the time. But no, that ranch, I don't know, acreage, I want to say 2 football fields in width and about 3 in length, if you get a good judgment of size. there were 3 points, almost like a triangle, where me and my family, my uncle and his family, and then my grandparents all lived. And we were separated by 100 yards each. But I can remember the early days of the first paranormal experience I think I remember having when I was young. Because me and my brothers went out one night during the summer when we weren't in school, and we were up to like 1 o'clock in the morning. And we decided to, hey, let's go down to this down the road and across and jump the fence and go to this house that, you know, uncles always told us a witch lives there or a witch died there, right? And we 100% believe it or not, but we had experience when we were younger, so we decided to go back there again. And we took a camera, old school, you know, 90s on your shoulder camera, but basically I'm aging myself right there. And we walked down a dirt road, which is about maybe 40, 50 feet from the house. And then the fence is, you know, lining the road on the left. And my second youngest brother, he got a little further than us. And my youngest brother was handling the camera. And leaving his camera work, rivals Blair Witch. That's how bad he is. But, so we didn't catch anything. And I remember walking with them, and my second youngest brother was ahead of me, and there's a woods that blocked the clearing before you see the house or the barn kind of thing. And he was further on, and before I broke the trees to see where he was looking at, because he was just standing there staring. And I said, "Hey, Gabe, what are you looking at?" And he just points, and I look, and the grass is maybe up to my waist, so let's say about 3 feet, 4 feet up. And I see this pale white figure, stand up and turn around and walk away. And we all just started running back to the house and stuff like that. But the best way I can describe it, it looked like if someone drowned and their skin was underneath water for a very, very long time.
Oh.
And it was just like pale white, like no clothes, nothing. All I saw was like the waist up, but I saw him stand up and then turn around and walk back into the darkness.
Did it look solid?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the moonlight was out, so we can kind of see what was going on. But yeah, that's what we saw. We all hauled ass. And I don't know if I asked my second youngest brother, like, he said he just saw the head. And like, he was like, is that someone out there? And that's what he was staring at. He was trying to figure out if someone was out there or not until he pointed when it started standing up. And that's when I saw it stand up all the way and turn around.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, man. So did anything else happen related to that or in that same time frame that may have been connected?
So later on, I would say when I was in high school, because this happened when I was probably like elementary, and then later on in high school, granted there's stuff happening in between, but relating to that Pacific white guy, we called him the white guy. One of my best friends, and I didn't have a car until I was 18, so this is probably when I was 16. He had a car and he drove me home, and he had experiences there beforehand because me and him were good friends, so he always came to my place, but he never liked coming to my place if he didn't have to. But he dropped me off, and I remember he was in a mood too. He was like, hurry, get out, I don't want to see nothing. And so I get out and he drives. Literally the next day at school, he tells me, I'm never going back to your place ever again. I'm like, you already said that, but what happened this time? He said, because the way the road is to my house is like a long, maybe, quarter-mile dirt road. It has like an instant instant right turn, and then an instant left, and then you get to my property. When he was getting out that long turn to get to he looked over to his, I assume like a little pond or lake was at some point in time, but it dried up a long time ago. And this is all grass. And he said when he looked out towards that field, he saw the white guy standing out there. But yeah, he saw the white guy standing out there, and then like he basically hauled ass and said I owed him new shocks.
No shit. So that's any ideas of what that could have possibly been?
But referring to the white guy,
yeah,
the last person to ever see him, my friend Rob, I think construction in my early 20s. I think I was 20. And again, I think I didn't have a vehicle at the time, whatever. But no, because he picked me up and we go to work. So he just basically picked me up. And he dropped me off at night. And he said when he was leaving, he was on the highway. And the highway has like a dip and a turn that goes over a creek, a little tiny bridge. And that turn that goes up to the left, like you're going uphill and making a left turn at the same time, off to your right, there's a driveway that's gated and that goes up to somebody else's property. And he said when he looked over at that gated spot, that little opening of dirt opening to that driveway, he saw someone like hunched down and like in a fetal position, but basically just sitting down. And all he saw was like the back of this person, like hunched down there. He saw it for a second, like, who is hunched out here naked? And he looked down, like, oh crap! And he hauled ass and drove out of there and stuff like that. He told me about it. I was like, oh shit.
Do you think that
So
was
3 different sightings.
something more metaphysical or a physical creature of some sort?
Now that I've been part of the paranormal for years, my best guess it's either a rake, or a spirit of someone who drowned somewhere on that land years ago. Because there's a river or a creek essentially that runs near the property, but it's about a good couple miles away. But that's my best guess.
So rake, you said a rake. I've heard of this before, and I think I've seen some videos on YouTube that claim to have shots of what they call a rake. But for the audience that may not be familiar, can you describe what this is?
Funny enough, I never looked at too much in rakes other than knowing what they are. But the rakes that have been captured on camera have a very close look-wise. Like they have the same look as what I saw. That pale white humanoid figure that looks longer and taller than it should be, with like hairless, like it just pale white looking, genderless. It's just like a creature that exists without in like almost a cryptology, but also in the paranormal world.
Yeah, the ones I've seen have really long arms, like longer arms than anything else.
Yeah.
Was that the same thing you saw?
I never got a good look at his arms. He's always just standing in the field and staring. And the guy I saw, like I said, he just looked like a pale white guy, or just pale skinned guy standing out there, no hair. Like I couldn't see it generally because whatever, but it was just like, and the way his skin looked was like he was drowned, like how skin looks like that's been in water for a long time, like deteriorating away. So that's what made me think he might have been a drowned victim.
Yeah.
But then I saw pictures of rakes, and I was like, kind of looks like him.
Right on. Well, let's get into a few more of your experiences, and I also want to hear about some of your wife's experiences as well.
No, no, there's one time that happened that after talking to a Bigfoot enthusiast that I interviewed on my podcast, I never took that experience as possible a Bigfoot experience. But then it gets this is Central Texas, and I'm like, why would Bigfoots be around there? But apparently there has been sightings. Anyway, one of the first nights that scared the crap out of my friends, the one friend that told me, like I said, it ruined his shock. His name was Steven. And I had another friend named Matt, probably the best friends I had in my high school years. Staying over at Steven's house, Steven's house one night. And it was a Saturday. And he asked, "You want to spend the night over, till Sunday and stuff like that? I'll take you back." And Sunday evening, I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." But I need to get my stuff, and I go ask my mom. So we me, Matt, Steven, drove with Steven's vehicle all the way back to my place. And as we got to the house, sorry, I had to explain whoever was sitting because it's important. Matt was riding shotgun, of course Steven was driving. I was in the back seat. So we get to the house, and the porch lights off. So it's dark out there. I'm like, oh, okay. And we get out, and me and Steven get out, and Matt's still in the car. And I go, "Hey, can I gotta come?" He's like, "No, it's good. I'll wait here." I'm like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'll stay here." All right. Because I've told him stories from my childhood and stuff like that. So he's like, all right. Me and Steven go in, have a small conversation with my mom. I ask her, "Oh, you go, it's fine, whatever." So I go pick up some stuff. I think we were in the house total of maybe 5 minutes. And then as we were leaving, I'm like, "Oh, let me turn the porch light on because it's dark out there. I don't want to walk in the darkness." Turn it on. We go down the porch. We go up to the car. Matt is now in the back seat with a freaked out look on his face. And we're like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Get in the car." Like what? Like, "Get in the fucking car right now." Like, "Oh, okay, gee, damn." So I throw my stuff in the trunk. We get in, and as we're driving away, he tells us, well, while we're in the house, he said, literally, as I close the door, he hears a hoof stomp. That's what he described it. In the distance. And then right next to the car. So he looked around, like, the hell does Isaac have cows or horses out here? Which is true. I do have cows out there, but I never wander that far towards our property. And off in the distance, then right next to the car, then off in the distance, then right next to the car. He started freaking out. He jumped in the back seat so he could see everything, like all his surrounding. And then when he said he was looking around, he heard like a tink, like a long scratching against the side of the car, which he jumped down in the fetal position and started like freaking out. And he said he was literally about to start honking the horn when I turned the porch light on and walked out. What was also interesting amongst that entire night is that when we're driving away and he's telling us this story, what happened, all the deer stood on the side of the road and watched us leave. Whoa. They just watched us leave, and he noticed that midway to him telling the story. He goes, "Why are the deer watching us?"
Wow.
And we all looked and like, yeah, they're just standing watching. It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen from deer. Like they just watched us leave. And we get back to Steven's house. We look at the side of the car, put our flashlights on the car to see if there's a scratch. And yeah, there's a very thin nail-sized scratch from one end of the car all the way to the other.
Wow.
And now, easy to say, they never came back to the house.
Yeah, I bet. Would you say there's anything historically in the area that you were that may have contributed to the energy or activity that was there?
The land, I don't know if you've ever been to Texas, but
yeah, a couple
Texas,
times.
especially the hill country is where I was living. There's a lot of limestone in the ground, so much so that you can't dig ever so how far deep without hitting it, and therefore you have to break it up and get it out before you go any further. And I was told that limestone or granite, a lot of that as well, holds a lot of energy. But that land out there, my grandfather bought in the mid 70s. And that's where we put our 3 trailers and they started building homes afterwards on that property. But something I can witness or I learned, but I figured out is that there's a big tree right when you drive in the entryway to the ranch. To the right. And now it's not on our property. It's on the other side of the fence, but it's hanging over so close that it might as well be. And I noticed one of the days when we were walking there that there's one big branch just hanging over, and it has this ringed knot in the tree branch. Almost like if someone consistently used a pulley system over again and again and again and again and again, wearing a giant knot in the tree, like over years.
Yeah.
This is Texas. Blanco, the town of Blanco was founded in the early 1800s. I wouldn't put it past anybody if they were to hang anybody to use that tree. It's so far out of town, so out of the way, that if you want to do so without anybody knowing you were doing it, that would be a good spot. Plus, you have 2 rivers on each side of this area. They can easily throw a body in and never see it again.
Yeah.
That's a suspicion. Right. I'm not saying that's the reason why that land is so haunted, but the experiences there alone is just. And then one of the times it was the weirdest out of all. And this is, I would say, before I had my ability, but I've already moved and left. And I came back to visit my dad and my grandparents in the area around that ranch and stuff like that. And I remember staying there with my dad, and he was at my uncle's place, and we were going to have dinner there. So instead of taking my car at night, I'd walk, and it's not a very far walk. You know, it's if it was in blocks, I would say it's less than a block. And I was going up the dirt road to my uncle's place, and there's whoever owns the land on the right side of us installed a fence that is probably a good story tall, like this big giant metal fence. And very sturdy, very expensive looking. Anyway, so I'm walking, and I'm just thinking to myself, "Oh man, I hope that happens out here." And I hear a bang, like something like slammed against that fence. Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I look, and I see like a 4 or 5 point buck deer. It's like wobbling away, like it just ran at the fence. And where it was standing when it hit the fence, if the fence wasn't there, it would have ran right into me. I did not even hear it coming. Bang! Opposite direction. The only reason deer would even come at me with purpose, and I remember I was talking to my wife about it. We thought maybe it could have been the skinwalker with
Right.
purpose, like coming after me directly. I mean, that was just a theory of mine, but like that didn't make any sense. I didn't hear it coming, and it just if the fence wasn't there, it literally ran right into me.
Wow.
I can fill up about 2 hours just talking about that ranch
That's
alone.
crazy. Now you mentioned skinwalker. Is that something that's prevalent in that area as well, skinwalker phenomena?
You think it wouldn't be because it's solely a Navajo legend and stuff like that, but there have been skinwalker sightings all across the United States, from different Native American tribes. In Texas itself had a very Native American presence there, like months ago, that one of his friends was down by the creek area fishing or trying to fish, and he found a bunch of arrowheads, Native American arrowheads, down by the creek area. I was like, oh crap. Like, yeah. So he said there might have been Native American presence in this area or even on our property at some point in time, long ago.
Right.
So another possibility why it's haunted. Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Well, before we get to a few of your wife's experiences, is there anything else that really sticks out? Any profound experiences that you've had?
Not me per se, but um, I guess the most impactful, well, not impactful one, but I guess the time I ever actually saw anything. So when me and my brother were living up in, we called it the Pink House, which really was, it's now more of a yellow, but it's a 2-story building built by my grandfather and my uncles, years ago, long before I was even born. And they made it out of concrete. And it's a second building with maybe 8 rooms because my grandfather had 13 kids. So he needed space for all of them. 12 kids. Sorry. I don't know
Wow.
where 13 kids from. And yeah, I have 12 uncles and aunts on my father's side. But
Yeah.
so he needed a place to put them all. And he built this second story building, and all those rooms, all my uncles and aunts are long married and living in other states. So me in my early 20s asked my grandpa, can I live up there and I'll pay your rent? He's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. So me and my brother both lived up there. And one of the nights, and we were working overnight at the time. So we would wake up at night and go to sleep during the day. But one of the nights before work, or I think I was off or something, I'm like half awake. And then I hear like a little girl saying, get up, get up, get up. And then I hear a low tone, get up. And then a
Wow.
bang, like someone slams my my nightstand right next to me. And in the blink of me waking up, and I see like a shadow figure of a little girl in like a Victorian dress. Because I see all these like little doilies and lace and stuff like that, but it's all black. Like her hair, her skin, everything that's like shadow black, right? And I remember I wake up and I blinked, and I saw that, and I blinked again, and she was gone. And it was interesting, scary at the same time, is that the water bottles that were on my nightstand were rattling like someone just hit it. Like they were like someone just banged it and they were like vibrating around.
Yeah.
And I remember I got up and I went to my brother's room and I said, I told him what I just saw. And my brother says, oh, you saw her too. I'm like, what? he said one of the nights he saw her standing at the foot of her bed, and then he told her to leave, and then he just closed his eye and went back to sleep. And I was like, you just blew that off? And I was like, yeah, I don't know what she was doing. As a girl, I mean, a little kid, I wouldn't be scared. Like, little kid ghosts are what you're supposed to be scared of. You don't know if they're ghosts or demons.
Right.
Anyway,
Well, I was going to ask you, was it an overall malevolent feel to those experiences?
that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the others was just like scared of shit of you and stuff like that. But like I said, I wasn't as aware as I am now when it comes to everything, let alone with my
Right.
skills that I have now. But no, my wife, she's had experiences of her own life, and this is how she always knew she had abilities because every house she lived in was haunted. No one has that kind of luck. Um, her earliest experiences was talking to her grandfather who passed away when she was like 2. And she was in the crib talking to somebody. Her mom walked in. She's like, who are you talking to? She goes, Grandpa. Never met him. Had no idea who he was. Never even saw his picture. But she was talking to him. Besides seeing little kids around her house, a teenage girl rocking in her chair like in her bedroom one night. She's like seeing a girl just stand there rocking in her chair. Like my wife has seen more than I ever have.
Yeah.
Um, and then she kind of like shut off her abilities until she met me. I
Huh.
won't say shut them off entirely, but kind of like put a silencer on them.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to deal with it. And then meeting me, and then us early our dating stuff, like me, telling, hey, this is important. We need to, strengthen your abilities and stuff like that. Is when she started to diving into more, and we started learning that she was an empath in the first stages of what her like reimagining her abilities, because she could feel the emotions of the dead. But
Hmm.
that was just one of her many abilities that she does now. And I call her the jack of all trades when it comes to psychic mediumship abilities, because there seems to be nothing she can't do. Her
Wow.
main focus skill is remote viewing. She can find anyone, anywhere, at any time, alive or dead. It does not matter.
Oh,
All you have to
really?
do is show her a picture of the person, and boom, she knows exactly where they are and what they're doing. It scared the
Wow.
shit out of a couple of my friends because she
Huh.
described their rooms that she's never been in.
Has she ever
And
helped
then
with any missing person cases or anything like that?
I get on her ass about it all the time, but
Yeah.
she has doesn't have very strong confidence in herself, even though
Hmm.
she's been right about everything she's ever done. So I'm like, and I guess she's just afraid of messing up, like
Right.
not being the right person. Like, it doesn't matter if you give them the exact location of the person, any kind of evidence would help them find that person. So she started to
Yeah.
get into it more and looking into it like the last year, um, getting better at it. But it's just a confidence thing. She doesn't have that much confidence in herself to know that I know she can. And that's why I'm
Hmm.
consistently, telling you have to, it's going to be, gotta help these people and stuff like that. So besides helping the dead as we do, I tell you, you need to start helping the living as well, because you can find majority people out there.
Right on. Now, you said you had uncovered abilities yourself as well. And in your bio, you say that you're a shaman. Talk a little bit about that.
Now, this is the part of an interview where we derail, because for the rest of the interview, you're not going to want to talk about anything else than this.
Right on, right on.
Yeah. And
Well,
I
before
say
we
this
get into
because
it, is there anything important that we should know before we go in down that road?
oh, not necessarily. I mean, the podcast was kind of the catalyst for the paranormal teams, because we interviewed a paranormal team on the podcast
Mhm.
our first year, and that paranormal team we interviewed disbanded literally a month after that interview,
Huh.
and then half the team from that disbanded paranormal team created a new team that we ended up joining, and it's because of joining them that I actually started mastering what I could do. That happened literally months before that interview. There was a member on that team named Mike who became kind of my mentor, and he never heard about what I can do, or even knew how to even master it or control it or do anything with it. All he really helped me with was learning to look through my third eye, getting in touch with spirituality, contacting my spirit guides. That side of the spiritual world is what he really helped me with. And then
Hmm.
we would discuss like things I could do with my ability and how we can better it and strengthen it to, help people out and stuff like that. So he became my mentor in that situation. And granted, he's retired from paranormal investigating altogether. He had a lot of medical problems later in life, and he just can't do it anymore. So, but we still talk and stuff like that, and I keep him. I consult with him on different things and what we're doing. So
Mhm.
he's still kind of like helping out. But as of investigating, no, he's not doing it anymore, because the paranormal team, as it is right now, is just me and my wife.
Right on.
We are always looking for members, but no one ever wants to stick around, because we like to go into the most dangerous locations that we can find, the
Ah,
most evil infested locations you can even think of. If it's demon infested, hey, that's exactly where you want to go.
wow.
Yeah.
Right on. So tell us a little bit about your journey of explorations of your abilities and how you came into them.
So, for information, for pretense,
Hmm.
I have never been, or still isn't, any kind of psychic medium whatsoever. I never had any abilities up until September 2020. Never had any inclinations. I couldn't see or hear them any better than anyone else can. But in September 2020, everything changed. The ability, yet to be 100% defined, awoke or came to me, however you want to put it. Mm-hmm. What happened is that I started feeling the energy of the dead in my hands. It's the best way I can describe it. The sensation feels like when your hand goes like numb, like when you sit on it too long, just falling asleep.
Yeah.
And it starts in the center of my palm. It spreads out through my fingers. The closer or the stronger the entity is. So in the beginning, I was like a natural EMF detector. Like I could know where spirits are by just feeling around. But that was the first stage. Second was my first ever pull when I encountered a demon for the first time. Me and my son were out in the backyard. I think I was barbecuing, and it was around Halloween, and it was nighttime. He wanted to be out there with me. And there's only one light out there from the door, like right outside the door, where you can have any illumination. And he was out there with me, and all of a sudden he started acting scared. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, and he is autistic and nonverbal, so we taught him. Right, he can talk now, it's fine. But when he was just like 3 years old, he couldn't speak properly or couldn't speak at all. So we taught him like basic sign language and stuff so he can, tell us what was going on. And he was signing like monster, like scared, like monster. Like, what? And he was pointing out in the yard. And I was like, oh, and all of a sudden my right hand started charging, is what that sensation I call it. It's that sensation, I call it charging. And I was feeling around, like, what the heck's going on? And Megan came out, and she was like, what's going on? What's killing and freaking out? And she goes, I don't know. He's saying something's over there. He don't like it. And she's, of course, tuning in over there. She's like, I know what's over there, but I do not like it. It's evil, right? And I walked to the yard, start feeling around, and then also they got more intense. And then almost instinctually, I grip my hand like I'm trying to grab the air. And I feel like this lightning strike go up my entire arm all the way into my head. And as I'm pulling whatever this is, and I just let go, because like I don't know what that sensation was. And I felt that energy like move into my arm and down and into me. I'm like, what the hell was that? And Megan said, it's gone. It ran away. I'm like, demons usually don't run away. But through practice and investigating, and of course having Megan, we figured out that what my hands are doing is differentiating positive from negative. So when my right hand charges, it's something evil, something dark, something negative. When my left hand charges, it's something positive, something human, something on the positive side of the spectrum when it comes to, the paranormal. Because usually when my left hand charges, oh, it's a person, it's someone around. Right hand, hey, get your guard up because there's something evil around here. But in the pulling sensation, that pull energy and absorb it almost like a vacuum into my hand, the early days I would pull that energy into myself, and my body would become like a natural filtration system, turning that energy into neutral energy that would leave me in a breath, like a wow. And when that happened, a chill would run up my spine, and it would just exhale. And I could be sweating in 90-degree weather, and that would happen to me like you're cold out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But that practice of pulling and transferring, filtering started taking a toll on me. It started turning the hair on the right side of my beard and my head gray. Granted, I was only 34 at the time. I was like, you see me now, fine. But it was just like, she was like, you got to find another way to do this. This is aging you. And it's only on the right side of my body, too. So luckily, my mentor, Mike, had a vision or a dream of the King Solomon symbol. And he was like, he didn't understand what this was. And at the time, the team that we were part of had a Jewish member. And he posted in our group chat. It's like, he drew it. It's like, you guys know what the sign is? The symbol is? And of course, our Jewish member is like, oh, that's King Solomon's symbol. The symbol that's on King Solomon's ring. So I looked up King Solomon. I remember the story he told to me in my youth of going to Catholic church with my grandparents about the story of King Solomon, about how he imprisoned 72 demons in his ring and used that somatic magic to build his temple, all that story. And I was like, well, if the only person in history could do what I do, granted, Solomon used magic and I'm using some kind of energy ability that's within me, let me try that. So I bought a King Solomon replica ring, nothing special, just steel and silver, and I got it for my pinky. I remember I did a pull, and I had the energy in my hand, and I said simply into the ring, and I closed my fist, and then the energy was gone. It didn't go through me. I was like, oh, interesting. And I kept doing that over and over again. And then my wife one day came into our room and goes, what is that screaming and yelling? What is that? I go, what? And I said, this. And I gave her a show of the ring. She's like, oh my God. She said she heard screaming and yelling and swearing coming from the ring.
Wow.
And she tuned into it, and she said it looked like a prison cell with all these Dementor looking shadow figures like swirling around and hitting the walls and unable to leave. And I go, oh, so that's what it is. It's a prison. How it works, I'm still not 100% sure on. But one thing we've come to know for sure is that everything that I sent to this ring never leaves. It never escapes. It once it goes in, that's it. It doesn't exist in our dimensional world anymore once it's in there. I got asked one time, do I have a name for it? At the time, I didn't. I just called it simply the ring. But over time, I thought, let me call it Cien de Fergo, which is Latin for no escape. Because everything goes in there, never leaves. But the what it looks like to me, before I say that, I have to explain how I know what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So learning to look through my third eye, as my mentors trained me and taught me how to do. It's not a vacuum that I'm creating with my hand. If you can imagine strings of energy coming from each of my fingertips, firing out and wrapping around an entity like a boa constrictor, reeling and condensing their energy to about the size of like a stress ball in the center of my palm. And then I send that energy to the ring. And it gets sucked into the ring and into that dimensional space, wherever the ring is, or wherever that place is for the ring. So that action of what I'm doing, that's what's happening. In the early days, I would have to take your right hand, like hold it, and then I could see into what I've come to call your mind forest. And the mind forest is the subconscious part of everyone's mind where all our darkness, our negativity, our subconscious emotions, our trauma all dwells and festers and builds. That place is where we either consciously or subconsciously put all our junk, essentially. And I can see that place. And everybody's mind force is different, from the foliage, from the trees, from the time of day, from how vast or how condensed it is. Everyone. And I've seen a lot of mind forest over my time, probably more investigations that I've actually done. But yeah. And once I remove that negative energy from your mind forest, your main spirit guide comes forward. And I've talked to a kaleidoscope of spirit guides. But that's what I've come to figure out. And in the early days, I would have to hold your hand to do that. But figuring out that, hey, I can send these tendrils through, let's say, how we're talking right now, through the camera from where I am on my phone, it goes through, and my tendrils will pop out wherever you are, grab whatever's in your home, pull it through the phone into where I am, and then, of course, I send it to the ring.
Wow.
So the best way I figured out, it's like folding fourth dimensional space. Essentially, your phone is where it is, mine is mine. It could be across the country. But when I pull, they're back to back, and I'm reaching in, grabbing, and then pulling out whatever's at your place. That skill, that ability has allowed me to help out 67 different families over our time and individuals. 67 home cases me and my wife have done.
Now, do you also help with personal attachments, negative entities or energies that attach to people themselves?
All the above.
Right on, right on.
I have helped out with attachments, oppression, infestations, regular hauntings, everything you can think of. It requires me to remove something from someone's place or attach to somebody. And the 67 home cases happen all across the entire world. I have pulled things from Australia, from China, from Ireland, from the UK, from Hawaii, from Belize, from the Philippines, from Argentina, from Canada, from Mexico, and all across the United States. I have helped people across the entire world because it doesn't matter where you are. All it matters is that we can video chat as we're doing right now. So using common technology with mystical ability in order to do so. As I said, 67 home cases. And in those 67 home cases, in the investigations I have done so far, I have imprisoned 184 demons in that ring.
And they are completely clean after you do that. They don't have any further problems. They haven't gotten in touch with you with any other things that have showed up.
4 cases that I've
Mm-hmm.
had to repeat.
Mm.
And it's usually because those people do things to attract stuff back to their homes.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Most people I talk to want it gone. They do not
Mm-hmm.
want this. They don't want to deal with this. Once it's done, they do not do anything, and they do their best to try to prevent it from happening again.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I meet the people who are like, they use it as a form of clout. Like they
Mm.
want to be haunted. They want people's
Yeah.
attention because they're haunted. And they meet me and they go, oh shit, this person got rid of it. I need to get something back that was just like it. And they do it again and call me back again. And I do it over. And then after several times of me telling them, look, if you're going to keep doing this over again, my help needs to be for people who actually want these things gone. If you're
Wow.
consistently trying to want it there, I can't
Yeah.
continue to help you. So that only happened twice, and
Uh,
4 times I had to repeat. But like I said, my ratio from other people, once it's gone, it's gone. It's done. Then they literally tell me within a week, so we check in with them, like, how's things going? They go, oh, it's better. Like it never happened. I'm like, oh, shit.
wow.
All right.
What were some of the wildest cases or investigations that you've been a part of?
The most profound, still to this day, most profound,
Mhm.
was a woman who I helped in Canada. Her name is Dal. And she had a son named Ronik. And her son was being oppressed by the spirit of a witch who had 3 demons in her stead.
Mm.
Um, and they were oppressing this kid so bad that he couldn't walk. He literally would drag himself on the floor because he said his legs were hurting so bad from being hurt by the monsters, as he put it.
Wow.
And she was desperate. She reached out to a shaman around that area. They came in, nothing changed. A paranormal investigation team that was there, who I became really good friends with, tried to come. Didn't want it. Then Dow changed her mind. She didn't want it because her husband was upset about the whole idea of it.
Mm.
So I got in touch with that paranormal team, Unknown Paranormal. Shout out for them. Because we became good friends with them. I helped them out with a case in their own home, and we became very close after that.
Mhm.
And I asked him, hey, can you go back and just ask her if she's willing to, just have me outside the house, like a video call, and look at the house, right? At least that much.
Mhm.
And he was like, okay. So he calls her. She said, yeah, it's fine. You guys come out. So we do a video call. She's outside her house. I feel something instantly, and I pull it, send it to the ring. I describe what it looks like, and she gasps and says that's what he describes him as. That's what her son
Mm.
describes him as. So she's
Wow.
like, all right, let's go in. So she
Mhm.
walks me through the house. I pull. I even go into Ronik's mind forest. I pull from his mind forest out because with oppression cases, I have to get the fail safe. And I call it the fail safe because every dark entity that's oppressing somebody leaves a piece of themselves in their mind force. And I've yet to 100% figure out why. I feel like it's
Mhm.
like almost like a tracer back to the person in case they get pushed away, or a marker telling other dark entities, hey, this one's
Well,
good
are
for
some of these maybe trying to possess the person and oppressing them over time to wear them down to where they can take over the consciousness?
well, that's why oppression exists in the first place,
Mm.
is to
Right.
break the person down for possession. It's the only reason
Okay.
they even do it. Um, but after I cleared everything out of her home, um, she literally said the next day he was walking, he was fine.
Mm.
Within a week, she said it felt like nothing, it never happened.
Wow.
I want you to guess how long it took me to clear stuff out of her home.
Oh, so a few hours?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Right on.
That is my record time from clearing out somebody's house and clearing their mind forest and telling them have a good day.
Yeah.
30 minutes. It's how long it takes me to do something that takes a priest, a light worker, a psychic medium, a shaman, anybody else, days to weeks to years to do. I do in 30 minutes. And also, I want you to guess, how much do you think I charge for this?
Oh man, I don't know, a couple hundred.
Nothing.
Right on,
I
right on.
charge nothing for my services,
That's
never
great.
have, never will. I feel it morally wrong to do so, so I do not do that.
Right.
And that's amongst everything that I do. People found the most astounding thing. You do this not only faster, better, more efficient, and you do it for free. Well, yeah.
That's the real deal, man. That's where
Yeah.
it's at. Have you worked with people who have had the spirit so extreme where it has led to possession?
I haven't had that kind of luck. I believe
Yeah.
me, that's my last great test is to
Mm,
see if I can pull a demon out of someone who is fully possessed. Now, I've
right.
known a few people, but I've never had like been in a room with an actual possessed person.
Yeah.
Um, it's come to find out is that possession cases are more rare than people think.
Yeah.
Oppression all the time.
Mm,
Possession rare. I would
mhm.
say maybe 10% of all oppression cases lead to possession because majority of the time people reach out to somebody who can help. They reach out to this person, they reach out to that person, or a priest, or they pray, or they do something to prevent it from getting stronger, right?
For most of these cases, are the people doing something particular to attract these entities?
Sometimes. It
Hmm.
doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes someone can easily just be walking down the street and the demon goes, "Ooh, I like this one," and follows
Ah,
them home.
yeah.
Uh, it's happened more times than you think.
Hmm.
It's of course the majority of the times because someone was at a place that was haunted, or they go investigate, or they mess with a Ouija board, or they do something,
Hmm.
or get a haunted object they buy from someplace.
Hmm.
I see that happen a lot too. But sometimes it's just as random as they're just existing, and this thing just sees them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I want to get your insights into the nature of the intelligences beyond our perception, demons, other spirits. Depending on who you ask, some will say it's all malevolent, it's all demonic. Whatever you communicate is a trickster trying to deceive you. Others may say it's an ecosystem of intelligences, everything from light to dark. Talk a little bit about your understanding of what lies beyond.
That's a loaded question. um, my conversations I've had with demons, because once I have them in the ring, I interrogate them
Mm,
to understand why they were oppressing a certain person.
mhm,
What it looks like in the ring, continuing that statement I said earlier, those tendrils that have the ability to go in someone's mind force that allows me to look inside the ring. What it looks like in there, if you can imagine a forest after a nuclear blast,
mm,
all the trees are burnt and black, the sky is overcast, the ground is covered in dirt and ash. The entities in there are all different shapes and designs of shadow figures. Some have horns, some don't. They're all yelling and screaming,
mm,
swearing at me particularly. But that was that. And then I learned to mold and change that place to my will and control because I figured I have control over it. Um, and what I did out of those 182 confirmed demons I have in that ring, I have also a laundry list of other entities I've put in there as well, from witches, from skinwalkers, from different entities that you can think of. And I've lost count of how many negative human entities that I put in there. I've lost count of how many of those assholes that I put in there. But out of those 182 confirmed demons, 29 are high ranked. And I
mm,
say high ranked, I'm talking the top elite guys, the ones that you know of, the ones you hear from stories, the ones names you consistently hear in movies. Those
mm,
guys, 29 are high rank. And what I did to create intimidation for everything I sent in there is I built a line of trees going in a perfect like walkway. And if you imagine when you go in, you're seeing that point of view, like 20, like yeah, 20 to 29 trees lined up face to face to each other all to your right and your left. And each of those trees have a high-ranking demon chained to those trees all the way down. And also, say you're a demon who got sent to that ring, and you look down at your feet when you walk, you're in there, and you see a big marble slab right in front of you. Inscribed on that slab is "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." If you know where that saying is from, and for those who don't, that is supposedly the inscription above the gates of hell.
Right.
And these are intimidation factors that I put to them, because they're going, oh shit, I'm in here. There's demons being chained. There's other creatures around me that are, in pieces around me, stuff like that. Holy shit, where the hell am I? This can't be hell, And then I show up and I interrogate them, ask questions. So they're more easier to give up the information that I'm looking for. So that's what it looks like in the ring. What it sounds like, the best way I can to give a description so you can go look for it for yourself is, I don't know if you're a Slipknot fan at all, but the opening track to the Iowa album, I think the song is called 515, you times that by 100, and that's what it kind of sounds like in there. So homework for people later.
Right on. Now, for the other types of entities that exist beyond our perception, would you say there are also entities that take advantage of humans that aren't demonic, that are maybe tricksters, or is there an ecosystem of beings that are non-human?
Yes. The creature, the demon, has existed long before Christianity ever wanted to call them demons. They were the daemons a long time ago in old Latin histories. Every culture across the entire planet has their versions of what a demon would be. The Japanese with the Urukai, the Nordics with the Draugrs. It depends on where you are in the part of the world. But there's always been inhuman entities that never existed on the human plane, therefore existing on a very lower dimensional plane of negativity, of a negative energy. They're born of evil. They're born of negative energy. So that's all they know. And then, of course, you have the creatures that might have been tulpas throughout history. Someone might have created them through the fact of believing into them. There's that theory that I always play around with, that most of these negative entities out there are just tulpas, are nightmares in real form. Enough people believe in something that makes it real. And the human's manifestation abilities, we have more power than we think we do, enough to create them. But I've encountered all different kinds of creatures, from wraiths, from different demons, from, of course, spirits of witches, from creatures, like monsters and creatures. I think I took a dog man one time, which made no sense. I was like, I didn't think those even existed, but all right. It's weird. The negative world of dark entities that I've encountered so much stuff that I never thought was real until I see them in the ring. I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, most of my encounters is with human entities and demons. I've encountered more of those than anybody else. The weirdest, and I know you've had some interesting people on your podcast who probably said some outlandish things, but I've taken down dragons in the negative world, in this negative space. And I put them in the ring, and I'm like, how? Is this a demon portraying itself as something else? Does this even exist in this way? No, it's a fucking dragon. All right.
Wow.
Didn't think that was real in a negative space. But then again, if it's a tulpa, then it's a strong possibility. Who knows? But from what I've learned, demons, why they go after people in the first place. And this probably also lies in the majority of negative entities out there. They are attracted to negative human emotion. Our emotions are so powerful and strong. We, as humans, feel them. When they say, oh, I cut the tension with a knife when walking into a room, yeah, because you're feeling the human energy of everyone around you. When everyone's ecstatic and happy and, oh, yeah, you're in that same mood too. When everyone is angry or upset or depressed, you can feel it. So, a creature that exists from negative space feeds and is it's like a drug to them, our negative emotions. That is why they go after people. And then when they start oppressing, that's all they do. They try to squeeze every drop of negative emotion out of you before they can possess you. And they're going to get everything that they want. Hence why they push all negative emotions, push your family away, push your friends away, make you sad, make you depressed, make you angry, just amplifying the negative emotion. And it goes with dark entities too. Some negative humans I've encountered that I pulled or approaching someone because they want to feel alive again. Therefore, the strongest emotions that they know are the negative ones. Hence why they're scaring the shit out of people to therefore get that negative emotion because they want to feel alive again. And sometimes they're just bullies. There's several times in my investigations of locations that we encounter like negative spirits, human negative spirits, bullying other regular positive human spirits in a location to keep them there because they want to feel tough, they want to feel big, they want to have a sense of power. But once I remove those negative entities from a location, all of a sudden the human entities that were so quiet beforehand start talking. Our spirit box goes off, my wife starts getting a stronger communication, and then therefore she helps spirits cross over. Because our goal as paranormal investigators is not to collect evidence. We're not there to prove that the dead are real. We know they are. We're there strictly to make that place 90%, if not more, less haunted than when we found it by removing all the dark entities from the location and helping as much spirits who want to cross over do so. Therefore, making it, like I said, 90% less haunted than when we found it, which is the full-on enemy of any paranormal investigation team out there, especially the cloud chasers who are out there just with evidence, going, "You just ruined what we do." It's like, no, you're ruining what people do. You are exploiting the dead for personal gain, and we're not about that.
I love it, man. That's awesome. We got a few minutes left. I have to ask you about the ring. Say anyone else would get their hands on it if you were to lose it. Would it be extremely dangerous if they had any knowledge of the spiritual realms or anything like that?
If I used magic, I would say that's a possibility, but I don't. That's the thing about me. I do not need spells. I do not need prayers. I do not need incense. I do not need any form of any kind of magic whatsoever. I just need to be in a room with whatever entity or in a good distance of whatever entity is out there. And that's it. It's done. It's over with. Regardless of how strong or powerful or ancient this entity is, it does not matter. It always ends the same. And that's not to say it with a cocky or egotistical attitude. No, I'm just saying, as a matter of fact, nothing has been able to stop me. Nothing. And this is why I use the term shaman. It's the best description I can give of myself. And the most important thing that I guess I'm going to leave you with, because it's what I always try to find information with by explaining this, is I have 6 names. 6 titles, 6 names that I have earned over these almost 5 years now of using my ability. The first is the Shadow Walker. That's my handle. That's what I've used for a long time now. That name given to me by another psychic medium who kind of has something similar to what I do, but she only works with positive entities by pulling positive energy in and then crossing to the other side. She never does with anything dark. Granted, it takes her immense amount of energy to do that, and she's tired as hell afterwards. But when she went to her shaman and asked her what this ability is, the shaman told her, "Oh, you're a psychopomp, or you're a shadow walker." So that's why she called me a shadow walker, and that stuck. The second was Earth Shaker. And that, when I started looking for evidence on this ability, anything, I searched everywhere, every religion, every culture, all across the entire world, finding anyone like this. And in my search, I found a Native American deity called Earth Maker. And I remember I was talking about it to my mentor, and he was like, does that make you Earth Shaker? I'm like, what are you talking about? Because he said when I would put my hand to the earth to do like a big giant ground pull of everything around me, he said he felt the earth vibrate, therefore calling me Earth Shaker, which is just a pun that kind of stuck. The third is Odin's Drenger. You didn't ask what my choice of faith is, but I don't feel bad about telling anybody I'm not a Christian, and which is kind of like, well, you hunt demons. Well, you can hunt demons if you're not Christians. That's easy. They exist regardless if you believe in them or not. I started looking into the Nordic faith. And one of my first oppression cases that I ever did, the day before, my wife, Megan, she was like, let's make an offering to Odin. We're going into battle, so let's see, it wouldn't be hurt. So I was like, all right. So I just took some stones and a wolf pendant, buried it in the ground, and I said, "All Father, protect me in battle," in the backyard. And I heard clearly as I'm speaking to you, Drenger, right? I look around, open my eyes, like, what the hell? Like, there's no one out there back there with me. And I'm like, what the hell is it? And I looked at the word. Dranger is essentially a word that Nordics used way back when to compliment, or almost like a title. It essentially translates to like badass or ultimate warrior. If you're somebody's Dranger, you're their best fighter. So for the All Father to call me Dranger, it's a high compliment. And that kind of stuck for a long time. The fourth is, like I said, the best description of what I can give myself is a shaman, but specifically a war shaman. Megan researched on her own. She found out there were shamans in the Aztecs and Haitian, even the Viking lore, of using staffs and objects to imprison dark entities. So, oh shit! So this is not something 100% new. She said yes, but they would have to use spells. They could only do it one entity per object at a time. You have, if the ring could ever get full, it's way packed, but I don't think it ever can. It seems endless in there. But they were always called war shamans because they were meant for war, battle, and stuff like that. So therefore, war shaman kind of became one of my fourth name. The fifth name is what they call me, what the entities, what demons call me. They don't call me Isaac. They don't call me Shadow Walker. They call me Order Keeper. That's what they call me. Order Keeper. But the sixth name is the most important name because it's the name that has the strongest clues to exactly who I am. So I had surgery about 2 years ago over my belly button. I had hernia surgery. And my mentor, who's had many surgeries over his time because he had stomach cancer, he's fine. He's in remission now. But he said every time he went under these anesthesia, he said he would meditate. And when he meditated under anesthesia, you can go anywhere. So I was like, holy crap, let me try that. I'll never get an opportunity to do this again. But literally the night before my surgery, we get visited by my grandfather, but not my grandfather who passed away in this lifetime. My grandfather who passed away when I was with the Cheyenne tribe in the early 1700s. He told Megan, tell me to find him when I go under. It's like, all right. So have the surgery. I don't know if you ever had surgery before. You ever had surgery before?
I have, yeah. I had my gallbladder removed over a decade ago.
So you know that feeling of when you go on anesthesia, you basically fall asleep and wake up at the same second and
Yeah.
hours have passed.
Yeah.
Never experienced it before. I was holy crap. So, but I remember waking up and looking at Megan in the I guess the room and going, I know my name, I know I am, and it's like shush, the nurses around. From the 6 hours that I was under, all I remember is sitting on a natural outcropping of rock in front of a cave, and there was a fire pit in between me and I guess my grandfather, and the fire was blue, a very light blue. And I remember looking at him, a Native American man, the whole get up and stuff like that. And he points to me and says, you are Ash Wakanatanka, the Reaper of Souls. You are Ash Wakanatanka. And I was like, oh. And I remember waking up and telling her, it's like, I know my name, I know I am, Ash Wakanatanka. She's like, shush, yeah. And so later on, after I had some clarity and stuff like that, I thought about like Ash Wakanatanka. What is that? I couldn't find that name anywhere. That name doesn't exist. It was like, I even asked Native American people I've met around here. They had never heard of it. They say it sounds Native American, just don't know where it's from or what it means.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, Native American spirits, when we investigate around here in eastern North Carolina, they call me Ash Wakanatanka over the spirit box. We hear that. Ash Wakanatanka come over the spirit box. And then my friends in northern West Canada around Vancouver, the Unknown Paranormal, he was investigating one time around a Native American place, and he asked them, hey, I got a friend in the States. He has a certain name. I want to know if you guys know it. And he said, do you guys know the name Ash Wakanatanka? And he heard instantly over the spirit box, yes, he is king. That's what he heard over the spirit box. So a Native American name or legend that's supposed to be associated with the Cheyenne, that Native American spirits know on the East Coast of the United States, and Native American spirits know on the northern West Coast of the United States, essentially, know the name Ash Wakanatanka. But yet,
Oh.
majority of Native American people I talk to around here have no idea. So that tells me there's a stronger legend to this name that I don't even know, that might have been lost through time. Or some Native American elder somewhere knows that name or knows a story, and they keep it so close to the chest that nobody knows.
Mm.
But that is the strongest clue to exactly who I am on that kind of level.
One more question about the ring. You mentioned that you don't think it could ever get full, but is it possible that if it does, that they could escape somehow?
No, because my ability, like I said, it doesn't work in a sense of magic. It works with energy
Hmm.
moving from one place to the other. Um, and I wouldn't call myself a witch or in the least bit. That's more Megan's thing. She practices more white witchcraft than anything.
Mm.
Um, I find out that when I put my hand to the earth while I'm in the ring of the earth that's inside the ring, and I say a commandment of any kind, almost like creating a law, therefore it sticks. Like no one can enter the ring that is not of my blood, or no
Mm.
one can remove dark entities from this ring that is not of my blood, or something of the essence.
Hmm.
Because some of the things I put in there, I do not tell anyone other than the inner circle. The inner circle is the group of people that are associated with me, my wife, that are privy to certain information that cannot be out in the airwaves. Not yet, anyway, in time.
Mm.
But that inner circle information is privileged. But there's some things that I put in there in the ring that I never want to escape ever, for what damage it would do to not only me but everyone else now that's pissed off and know that humans can imprison them. So
Mm.
it's why. But also the ring is always with me, always.
Yeah.
And if you weren't on psychic mediumship skill whatsoever, you would never know it's there because it doesn't work like a haunted object. And that's the part of it that really goes, what, like what? And that's why I think no one can remove stuff from it. A
Yeah.
haunted object, as we know them, when you attach a demon into it or an entity to it, that object itself, if any room or house where it's in, starts affecting the people around them. People start getting affected and start having nightmares, whatever. 182 demons, along with a long list of other stuff. One demon in that ring should be enough to affect everyone in this house, but no one's affected.
Mm-hmm.
You would never know it's there, like I said.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect people, so it doesn't work like a haunted object. And what is it then? My best guess is that it acts like an access point to another world.
Mm.
This other world being this prison world where all these things are that can't leave. Where they have no more power in there. Like that's why they. I know I don't know if you thought about it, but I actually they've tried to hurt me while in there. They've tried bum rushing me, but again, they have no power in there. They are powerless. They are just less powerless than they were in our world, but even more so in that ring than anywhere else. So that's why I can chain them to trees. Why I can interrogate them on a level that would be illegal in this world. It's because they have no more power in them.
Do you think that they're
So
parasites, or are they part of our experience here, a necessary part, or was it an infiltration?
they have a parasitic attitude about stuff. They
Mm.
need us, essentially. They hate us. They
Mm.
hate us with a passion. Let me tell you. Oh my god, they fucking hate humanity. That's why it upsets me when I hear people say demons. Or I have a demon guardian. Or I'm friends. No, you're fucking not. It's abusing you. It's manipulating you. It's just
Yeah.
waiting for its opportunity to do something to you. So no, they are not friends of humanity in the least bit.
Yeah.
Um, but it's almost like infiltration. They've existed here long before we have. But
Mm.
something my wife figured out with her meditating, remote viewing, and going not only across the entire world, but going up,
Mhm.
higher dimensional planes. She talked to some interesting characters. I can tell you that much, and that'd be a story for her. But
Yeah.
what she's learned is that you've already heard this from countless people, but higher dimensional planes, right? And we'll never know what the true number of it's 12 dimensions up or 13, whatever, how many people want to even guess at.
Mhm.
But she says there's 12. The 12th dimension being where the source is, and of course, all dimensions to go down. But she says it also goes opposite, negative dimensions down.
Mhm.
All human spirits, ghosts, whatever, they're on the fourth dimensional plane of higher. Negative entities, negative humans, demons, they're in the lower dimensional plane, negative fourth, right?
Yeah.
And we're third dimensional beings, but we're in the middle. And this is why they come to us, because they're going down. And so I said the human emotion is the strongest ability out there. Our souls generate energy that attracts them for positive and negative reasons. But ghost human spirits are trapped, those who want to stay behind. What we found out is that they're here because unfinished business, as we all know, or they're afraid to leave, like they're being punished. A lot of them are actually afraid of judgment. And we have to basically convince them otherwise, like, hey, it's going to be fine. You're going to go, maybe you'll come back again in a new life, or maybe you go on to your final resting place, but it's going to be fine, right?
Yeah.
So we have helped a lot of spirits cross over. Some choose to stay because they like it here versus starting over again. So
Right.
we run into a lot of those cases. But when it comes to dark entities, demons, no, I've hunted them more than anything else, especially demons themselves. That's why I said I've imprisoned so many. It's a hierarchy, almost like a gang these days. Because what I've learned by looking at them is that they have designs in their skin. And almost like branding or carving in their flesh. And the more higher the rank, the more designs, like a gang. And that's why some of the top rank guys I've taken down are covered from head to toe in carvings and the branding on their entire skin. That's how I know, oh, this guy's been around a long time, but also he's top level. Some guys just have a sleeve or just a chest piece, or maybe that's your legs. It depends. But they higher the rank, I guess, the more people they possess, the more people they oppress, the more chaos they create.
Yeah.
Whatever the essence is that there's a hierarchy of, of that in hell, but also of how you get there and how you earn your place amongst them. So they do have a sense of grade system. As for regular dark entities, not so much. It's like they're just existing to exist.
Well, this is so fascinating, man. We're almost out of time. We're definitely going to have to do this again because there is so much that we didn't get to that I'd love to. Before we close out, let the audience know if they are having any issues. What's the best way to get in touch?
So we got the Instagram, Hidden Shadows Podcast on Instagram. I always say it's the best place to get a hold of us because we check it the most out of everywhere. Or hiddentheshadows.com, which actually have our own website where it's links to all our social media where you can find us, all ways you can listen. By the way, you can listen to the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever. We talk about 90% paranormal and spiritual stuff. We do the occasional cryptid or conspiracy theory or true crime stuff, but majority of it is paranormal, or even aliens as well. By the way, I have had encounters with them too. So if you ever bring me back again, but yeah, if you're dealing with anything minor as, hey, I need my mind force cleared out, I can easily do that. Or I got a demon in my home, I need it gone. Easily can do that. It's no problem. Just message us either through email, to the website, or message us on Instagram. We'll set up a time, a call, like a FaceTime, like we're doing me and you are doing right now. And like I said, 30 minutes in and out. So I pull whatever's there, clear your mind force out, and you're good. You're done. It's over. You're set.
That's amazing.
And like I said, I do not charge anything for our services whatsoever.
That's awesome. Isaac, thank you so much. Like I said, we'll definitely be doing this again. Until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. We will talk again tomorrow. We'll see y'all then.